Thanks, you guys, for being here. Really appreciate it. And I want you guys to start by introducing yourselves.
My name's Seth Priebatsch. I'm the chief ninja of Scavenger. Scavenger is a mobile game. If you're not familiar with it, it's a game about going places, doing challenges, and earning points.
Hi, my name is Dennis Crowley. I'm one of the co-founders and I'm the CEO of Foursquare, and we're based out of New York.
I'm Jeff Holden. I'm the founder and CEO of Pelago. We're the makers of Whrrl. And what Whrrl is endeavoring to do is enhance people's lives through discovery.
So we got a lot of agencies and technologists in the house here who would probably really like to know the best ways to activate with you guys and the kinds of campaigns that you're interested in doing, and maybe a little bit about what you're not interested in doing. You want to start, Jeff?
Yeah, sure. Right. So our primary kind of interface point with partners is through societies and society rewards. Maybe I'll actually give an example. One of the ones that we're actually really excited about, it's gone very well. It started to become kind of a somewhat mundane area, which is buying gasoline and purchases at convenience stores. So one of our partners is Murphy USA, which is, they have 1,100 gas stations and convenience stores. They're co-located with Walmart, which you've probably heard of, and we were very excited about that arrangement. But what they did was we created a society for Murphy USA, what they were excited to do was try to make getting gas more fun and more interesting. And so they started off by, I know it's just, it's amazing, and by the way, it worked. I'll cut to the chase. So what they did is they stickered every single gas pump at 1,100 gas stations that says check into Whrrl right now to win free gas. And what the beauty of this was, the way Society Rewards works is it's chance-based, and so there's a game you play when you check in, and you have a chance to win. And so they're giving away was $50 of free gas. And so, you think about $50 of free gas, that's pretty serious. And it's one of those things you actually don't believe until you see it happen. And so people were actually winning these free tanks of gasoline and shouting about it on Facebook and so forth. And since the program started, the Murphy's been actually collecting a ton of data and feeding it back to us from what they've been seeing. What they learned right away was, right after the first 2 weeks of the program, 84% of people surveyed said that they went to Murphy USA for the first time ever, or in lieu of a competitor, because of the Society Rewards. And they've now had the program going for months. We started on July 1st, so a few months, I guess. And the more recent piece of data is that Whrrl users are 3 times more likely to return weekly or more than their average user. And so at this point, there's this really clear case of, they were able to activate a bunch of people, thousands in fact, and they were all able to then, retain this relationship with them and engage them. It's a really interesting, I think, use case of how, a brand can interact with a product like Whrrl.
We spend a lot of time trying to surface the interesting data that we collect on Scavenger to help local businesses, to help brands, to help players make intelligent decisions about where they want to go, what rewards they want to work on, whether they just want to play for fun. We feel like the data that is here is interesting, and if you want to look at it and you're an individual, you can, and in many ways, brands can sort of get value from some of the anonymized data that's out there. There's the obvious one, which is check-ins, or in Scavenger's case, visits. How many people have actually been there, whether they've checked in or whether they've done a challenge. Lots of different services can provide that. All of us can provide that. Facebook Places can very soon provide that. Lots of people can. Where Scavenger starts to be able to provide interesting and unique value beyond that is engagement. What are people actually doing here? If there's a challenge, which is just snap a picture, that's really cool. We know that someone checked in and then they snapped a picture and they stayed there a bit longer. If there's a challenge, which is, what's your favorite flavor of ice cream at Toscanini's, that's actually collecting a reasonable amount of interesting data. And if they're sharing that publicly, it'll show up in the activity stream of that place. Now, where it really starts to get fun is that when you think of the world as a game layer, rather than just as a bunch of pinpoints on a map and where are people right now, but actually what are they doing at places, you start to get new types of statistics that brands can measure. Things like the social coefficient, which, how many people representing brands out there are measuring the social coefficient of their retail locations? Anyone? No. Okay, that's good, because we just made it up like 3 or 4 weeks ago. We didn't make it up, but we just started finding ways to measure this. And so the theory behind a social coefficient is it's the percent of people that visit your location with friends. And that's really interesting, because some places you go by yourself. You go to convenience stores by yourself. Some places, like bars, you're ideally going with friends. Movie theaters, you go with friends. Parks, sometimes you're going with friends, sometimes you're going by yourself. And through challenges on Scavenger like the social check-in, or just through some really clever analysis of data, we can tell Lansdowne Pub here in Boston that their social coefficient is 41%, meaning that 41% of people are definitely visiting with friends. Many more people may be visiting with friends, but that's what their sort of social coefficient happens to be. And a bar comparing their social coefficient to a convenience store is kind of meaningless, but there are lots of bars on Lansdowne Street. And so for them to know that their social coefficient is 41, whereas the bar next door's social coefficient is 58, means that they're probably doing something that isn't fostering social interaction. And places that have higher social coefficients, when you visit more with friends, create shared experiences, create higher levels of loyalty, you stay longer there, you go back more often, and it's actually a really, really insightful statistic that people aren't thinking about yet because there haven't been the tools out there to measure them.
The very simple act of just checking in, and you get people that do it, like the average check-in I think is like 3.1 or 3.2 times a day or something like that, which is great. It's like either breakfast, lunch, and dinner, or lunch, dinner, and drinks. And you get people doing that 5 days a week, 7 days a week, and before you know it, you have a lot of data about what a lot of different types of people are doing, and where they're doing it, what time of the day they're doing it. And like this is something that we discovered at the dodgeball day. It's like, oh my God, it's not about the check-in. It's about what you do with all that interesting knowledge that you have about the users. And in which specifically for us, how do you take that data and then recycle it back and give it back to you guys so that it's making the world a little bit easier to use and a little bit easier to understand. And so we cut queries up like this all the time. And we're just trying to figure out a way to make it scale. But we do these things in our office, which are, show me all the places where people check in between 11 o'clock and 2 o'clock, like say lunchtime. Sort them in our neighborhood, down near our office, sort them by popularity, weight them based upon have our friends been going there, yes or no, and then from that list, remove the places that me and the two guys I'm going out to lunch with have already been to. And when you do that, like for lunch spots or for brunch spots or for dinner or sushi places, you basically get a machine that just tells you the places that you'll probably enjoy because other people have done it. It's not a new trick. I mean, people have done it with, Amazon does it with books and music, and Netflix does it with movies. But we have a richer data set because we have, are people going there with other folks? Are people going there during the time of day? Are the people that are going there, are they sushi experts? Are they hamburger experts? And you start to be able to come up with these amazing products that just push you in one direction or another.
Sushi.
What's that?
Damn those hamburger experts!
I know, right?
Sushi.
No, but it's the whole thesis of Foursquare is can you create software that encourages you to go out and do things that you wouldn't do before?